In Africa, we say, start where you are, use what you have. I am Chieza Nyahuye, the African AI auntie, born in Zimbabwe, shaped across 4 continents, and rooted in the wisdom of community. My mission is to help students, educators, and creators understand, engage, adopt, and implement AI plus digital entrepreneurship. Through my book, The AI plus Digital Entrepreneurship Blueprint, my workshops and platforms, I provide tools to turn your ideas into income and lead Africa into the global digital revolution. This is more than a business. It's about unlocking dignity, possibility, and legacy. Join me, and together we'll build Africa's digital future.
The new experience, the new engagement to where we all can be able to create and think at the speed of light. And today we are with the amazing Chietza Naole, and we are here for her amazing book launch. If you haven't heard, don't know what rock you've been under, but we are here for the amazing book launch and the grand opening of her amazing new Biz in a Box, more than website and experience into African Aunties AI. And that's what today is all about. And if you don't know, we have the amazing Chietza. She is the AI Digital Entrepreneur Coach for African youth, hustlers, anybody that is wanting to be able to move their business forward. An international bestseller, author, 4 times, #1 bestseller, co-author, international speaker. We are so glad to have Chietza join us today. And without further ado, Chietza, please share more with us, ma'am. Talk to us about who you are, what you do, ma'am.
Sure. Welcome, everybody. Salibonani ninjani ele baoni habari gani tumelang. Good to meet you all and welcome. And also salam alaikum, bonjour, bon dia. I'm just covering the bases in terms of greeting everyone because I know that we have people tuning in from all different countries from around the world. And this is an honor to be here to share with you what I've been working on with my fantastic business partners, David and Tara, and what we're sharing with you today. Yes, my name is Chieza Nyahuye, originally from Gweru, Zimbabwe, but I grew up in Zimbabwe, but have been lucky enough to live and work and go to school in countries on 4 different continents. And so I'm here today to share with you what I've been working on in terms of my passion to help empower African youth, especially to upgrade your tech skills and AI tools capabilities, and eventually launch your own online businesses, even while you're still studying in university.
I love it. I love it. So what inspired you to identify, the African AI auntie? And how did your own journey, lead you to empower African youth through digital entrepreneurship? Talk to us about that. What was the aha, I'm going to be doing this?
Okay, so I'm an auntie of 14 nieces and nephews, right? And actually they're all on 4 different continents, funny enough. And so my main pain point actually started 21 years ago. That's brought me to here today. So even though I did spend 7 years in the United States, got my bachelor's and master's degree, all on full ride scholarships, luckily enough, when I went back home to Zimbabwe for 14 years, I applied over 700 times and never got a job interview. And I thought I was going to easily go into the UN track gravy train, and that didn't happen. And so I was always questioning, okay, with all this education that I got and exposure, why is that not translating into the kind of job or income that I was expecting? And even whilst I was back in Zimbabwe, I saw hundreds of thousands of university graduates pouring out into the streets. But even in Zimbabwe at that time, it still is, unfortunately, the unemployment rate was 92%. So we had to think differently because we understand that the business infrastructure in a lot of African countries can't absorb all of these graduates per se. And then just fast forward more into this tech space. So I decided to move back to the United States 7 years ago. And I was able to pivot into the tech industry about 4 years ago through SV Academy. And the model that I appreciated was the founder, Rahim Fazal. He had lined up at least 500 employers, right? And then on the SV Academy side was helping career transition professionals. These are people who've been working in other careers who want to get into the tech industry, but the entry point would be through tech sales. And so I went through the program. I was even invited to join the company. I was training people to do the same thing. And so it was almost like you're getting your skills upgraded. You're rebranding yourself in terms of how you present yourself on your resume, on your LinkedIn, and you more or less guaranteed a job, right? And so I found that model to make sense for me, and I wish we could replicate that even on the African continent. And I actually helped over 120 people through that process myself. And even though now I'm currently working in the fintech industry, the main reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today is because of one of my nieces who studied in India. Her name's Erin, and she sent me a text message back in February and said, "Auntie, how can I make money online?" And again, it brought back to the forefront. Like, okay, we're going to study for these degrees. We're getting these certificates. But how do we translate that into income? How do we translate that into jobs? How do I even approach these companies? We're hearing, yes, Africa is the next $63 trillion region in the next 10 years. So my question is, okay, who's hiring? How do people get exposed to these people to get hired? And can they actually get jobs that give them meaningful income to build a life? So in the meantime, in my capacity, from my own experience, having been through the degrees and through my business coach, Dr. Ava Brown, we came to the conclusion that, look, why don't I figure out a way to activate skills building for African youth, even if they are in university, and develop their own income while they're in university before they even start looking for jobs. Because that way they're not only practicing skills that would be needed in the job settings that they want to, but they're creating their own portfolio of their capabilities and they're earning income. So that's why I created African AI Auntie. African because my focus is on highlighting, uplifting, and catalyzing the brilliance and talent that is already within all of us actually, and especially uplifting African youth. As an AI because I'm bringing in my knowledge and I'm always learning. I don't know everything. I never will know anything, but it's the mindset of continue to be learning and applying what you learn through whatever tools you get access to, from the ChatGPTs to the Midjourneys to all these different Suno, all these different apps that you can use to create content and build solutions to problems. And then the auntie aspect is because culturally, in our African context, auntie is the one who you usually go to talk to in the village context. That auntie guides you, auntie uplifts you, auntie directs you, all from a loving but firm way. So that's how I came up with the name African AI Auntie, to incorporate all those three elements.
I love that, Chietza. You know, the beautiful thing about it is understanding where there's a gap. You know, you hit the nail on the head when you're, why are we getting these degrees? And for somebody who holds a master's degree, after I have a master's degree, I too ask myself that question. I do understand for myself, it was a goal of mine and I've achieved that goal. But we looked at it just like your niece did, you kind of stop and go, what's applicable to this? And so to find that gap and to understand that we as a society are moving through an entrepreneurial shift. I'm not sure if many people know, but over 120 years ago, our society was, and most of the world was, heavy entrepreneurship. It was over 90% of people were entrepreneurs. They had to. Someone owned the local market, someone had the pharmacy, someone had, the bank. It was required a community, as you would know. But as we've moved through the time over the last 125 years, we are now, that has shifted. 90% of it is large corporation and 10% of it is entrepreneurial. But we're seeing that shift due to AI and Web3 capabilities that are coming down the pipeline. And so this, goes hand in hand with your amazing book that you're launching. And for those that don't know, it's the AI and Digital Entrepreneurship Blueprint, extension of her smaller ebook and audiobook that she already has out. This is going to be your roadmap and guide. But, as we jump into this, she had to explain to us why this moment is important for the African youth to embrace AI, utilizing digital tools, guides like your amazing blueprint that you have conducted and produced for us. And how do you help them see that technology is accessible and empowering their future instead of going the traditional route of maybe a degree?
Sure, because at this time, we are seeing that Africa actually right now, within the next 10 years, will have the youngest population in the world. So I remember hearing President Mahama of Ghana. He was saying basically the future of the world is Africa, because 25% of the world's population will be African in the next 10 years. And so in looking at that point, it's more of looking at how can we position African youth to not only upgrade their skills and have the kinds of skills that are applicable in our rapidly digitalizing world, but also take advantage of the current context. And I'm not new to saying what I'm saying, because I'm seeing for myself, as I was doing my research over the last 2 months, there are stories upon stories upon stories of African youth who are creating agri-tech hubs. For example, I'm speaking from my own birth country, Zimbabwe. This young man called Tindai, he self-taught himself as an engineer to come up with agri-tech hubs that is making the agricultural sector much more efficient in the context of climate change, saving 60% on water, making more focused, even plant-focused nutrition to increase yields, right, in spite of what is happening globally with climate change. And now Zimbabwe is being called the Green Silicon Valley because of all the agri-tech hubs. And what he's doing, he's empowering rural youth to be able to access these tools and be able to shape the way that the agro-business industry is forming. There's a young man in Malawi. He is creating electricity from air, right? And yes, he's already empowered his own context village and the community center. He's seeing young guys in Kenya who have created robotic arms, and they're also finding ways to use it. There's one who's actually found a way to have the robotic arms translate sign language into words. You're hearing in Nigeria, they're creating drones they're actually exporting to other countries. So I'm seeing there's a lot of enthusiasm and energy, yet at the same time, there is still a huge population that doesn't even know. Okay, they hear ChatGPT, okay, sure, but how do I use it? How can I incorporate it into what I do on a daily basis? So even the way that I wrote the AI plus Digital Entrepreneurship Blueprint, I specifically created it in that way, in that I get it down to the very basics of using what is available in your hands. Everybody's on WhatsApp. A lot of people, the majority of people are on smartphones. So it's more of teaching you step by step, like, okay, even start using ChatGPT like a friend, like somebody that you have a conversation with, someone that you can figure through about, okay, I want to solve this problem. How do I go about doing it? And becoming more familiar with it, almost like, it's like using a muscle. You only get better the more times you use it. And then we transition, even within the book, I even get step by step, like, okay, what are you passionate about? What problems are you seeing in your community that you want to solve? How can we design a solution for it? And then transition those solutions into using different AI tools to bring that to life. And more importantly, even monetize it. So in a way, I'm seeing the African continent positioned in that the African youth can actually lead the AI digital revolution that's taking place across the world. And even though I'm advocating for more entrepreneurial ways of doing things, which we've done historically, actually for most of our existence, it's also being aware that, yes, there are opportunities of companies that are saying, oh, 230 million jobs are being created on the African continent. So I'm mainly saying, okay, even if they're all 230 million jobs and still figuring out who's hiring, who's doing whatever, you would stand as a much stronger candidate having your own portfolio of what you've already done, what you've already practiced doing, whatever problems you've already practiced solving and designing using AI tools. I hope that answers your question, Tara.
Absolutely, Miss Chietza, that did in detail. And it allows us to understand really what the landscape is going on in Africa. You know, I think all too often we get the high level of things that are happening as we know across the world, but it really takes the individuals like yourself that have boots on the ground, that have roots from Africa, that can really dive in and understand what is transforming. Because as you shared, I don't think a lot of people understand what is happening, like as you shared in Zimbabwe, and how that is really becoming a tech hub like Silicon Valley, right? That's
Mhm.
information a lot of people don't know. So that is why it's so important to have not only this conversation, but to have an individual like yourself who is now bringing that information to the light. So thank you for answering that. Absolutely, Mr. Jones.
Big things that this is all going to bring to us on the forefront is just knowledge. And Chietza being the forefront of being able to showcase what's going on in Africa, the technology side of how it's impacting Africa, and then more importantly, how we all can utilize it in our daily lives, in our business lives, and more importantly, just learning. And I saw, I watched Gary Vee the other day, and he said, when we used to make fun of our grandmas because they couldn't text. Or some of us are making fun of people because they can't do social media or they don't know, the simple things. I'm just here to tell you, you might be laughing at them, but you might be the next grandma if you don't catch on to how to utilize this AI. I can assure you, it's not like, it's not like, social media. It's not like anything that we've been utilizing for this last 20 plus years. If you think about it, Facebook's been out for over 20 years. We've been utilizing the same standard things. And especially for Africans, it's, kind of been left behind. But now they're in the forefront, especially with them separating from Google just recently and saying, you know what, we're going to capture and we're going to do all these things on our own. And no longer are we going to play by your rules. Our people are going to get the information that they need. And so this is so, great that we're having this conversation. We're able to showcase this. So, speaking of this, Sujata, what is the biggest barriers African youth face in income? And how do you help them shift from seeking jobs to using AI tools to create their own opportunities? Share with us that, man.
Okay, so the biggest barrier is access to the skills because unfortunately a lot of African countries we inherited a colonial education system which is still being taught today, unfortunately. Yes, some countries have made stride to kind of update their curriculum, but the majority is still rather antiquated and is not relevant to what is needed today. And so that's where I am seeing initiatives like I'm even just going to drop names, Ms. Kim Salikimangu with Future Tech Ignite, where they are focusing on exposing young people to AI tools, to drones, to creating their own experiences using these AI capabilities, even from a young age. As I know in the US we say elementary school, but in African context it's the primary school. So like grade 1 to grade 7, right? So again, it's about one of those things of, yes, we understand what the context is. There's a lot of lobbying that needs to happen, even working through the systems of the education system, government policy, etc. But as much as we're talking about developing skills, because I know so many people already have coding certificates and all this cybersecurity certificates. But it's one thing to have a certificate. It's another thing to actually be able to be matched with a job that helps you practice it, right? And so my intermediary type proposal, even through the book that I've written of the AI plus digital entrepreneurship, is as much as you learn, let's say, digital marketing skills or cybersecurity skills, what can you do as your own projects, even if you're promoting a local business, right? Get them online, get them to be able to be accessible, even working with farmers, right? Doing the whole from farm to market. How can we better help farmers and access better markets and get better prices for their produce? So it's one of those things of, yes, we know what the barriers are, but once we are aware of what is possible, It's more uplifting the stories of people who are already doing it successfully, right? Even as college students, I'm hearing even for tutoring, right? And helping their fellow students learn better. We're hearing students coming up with solutions and how to do that even through various apps. And as much as a lot of the African contexts are more 2G, the way that I'm proposing and amplifying is you can create certain products online, but have it accessible offline. So those are the different kind of capabilities, but also it's about the mindset and shifting our mindset. Because I know when I grew up, my mom said, get a degree and then you'll get a job. But I know I've been through some really great universities. I talked to so many people, even I was talking to recently to university students in Nigeria. And none of us were ever taught how to write a resume, let alone apply for a job. So it's one of those things of bridging both skills. How can I make myself look more employable by already practicing what I want to actually get employed into? And then as I approach and find out which companies are hiring, rebrand myself, research that company and figure out a way to present myself in such a way where they can see me as being employable. So it's a bit of a both and kind of aspect.
Absolutely. And I think that's
Absolutely.
that. Yeah, and I think that's the information that is so key to bring to the community, Chietza, is understanding how these different arenas are affected. And what do I mean by that? Different societies, different countries, different ethnical backgrounds, different gender backgrounds, and understanding that how to bridge that gap as you're sharing through all of your shares and every question we've been able to speak about this morning is really understanding and implementing, to not only the world, but understanding that to inspire the youth of Africa to not be scared of the tools, right? Like you said, how to utilize ChatGPT, how to be able to, not conquer, I wouldn't say, but be able to bypass some of those barriers that anybody else have experienced with utilizing AI and trying to build an at-home entrepreneurial business that won't only support them now, but support them in the future, right? And so that leads us into this. Why are systems so critical for African youth moving from hustles to sustainable businesses that bring a valuable income to them? And how can AI-driven tools and framework future of African entrepreneurship?
That's a great question, Tara, because what I've been seeing is, again, for example, I gave you the example of the young Malawian young man who's 18 years old and is powering his community with electricity from air, right? Because, well, like with any business, it's one thing to make money, but it's another thing to make sure that it's sustainable and scalable. So even just, I'm practicing what I'm preaching, right? That's why even for the way I set myself up, though I've been able to publish books, I also realized that I need to have a system around me to build it as a business. And that's why I know we'll talk about it in probably a couple of minutes about what I've been working with you and David, so I don't want to preempt it. But looking at the African context, my first question whenever I see these young people creating income, be it even on TikTok or etc., and I've also been talking to various people, other entrepreneurs who have the same concern, is what infrastructure do you have around you? For as simple as when you're gathering your customers' information, where are you storing it, right? How are you able to create marketing campaigns, right? How are you able to house, even set up your banking system, your financial systems? How do you set yourself up to have the right infrastructure so that you are actually more investor friendly for people who want to invest and help you grow and expand your business or your hustle? So a lot of it is about, it comes into, when we're looking at systems, it is about branding, automation, and digital processes that can be incorporated to help you build that out. And I'm not saying that you have to start off with a whole huge setup. You can start very small. And I've been talking to various people who are like doing some basics of just your email system, your data gathering system of your customers and a CRM, right? I know what I have is a much more elaborate, but it's a way to build to that. Because also one thing that concerns me with all these creations and AI even powered creations is about ownership of intellectual property, right? Because I have another friend of mine in California who was also questioning that, like, okay, great, this young man has created electricity from air, but who are the support systems around him that are making sure that, first of all, he patents it, that he's protected legally, and that there's a way to put a business structure around him so that he can even find ways to grow it into a business, employ more people to do what he's doing, right? So that's where I look at, looking at that. And that's where a lot of businesses fail, because I even heard the statistic recently at another entrepreneurship assembly with African young entrepreneurs, where one of the speakers said that 80% of small to medium business enterprises in Africa fail by 80% because they don't have that infrastructure around them for sustainability. So that's why, as much as we want to be pursuing to get the money and the sales, it's also about how much of that do you keep and how much of it can you actually expand and grow to even grow your business further.
So true. So,
Not send it back.
you know, and when you were talking about, you know, support system, also that gentleman that has created, you know, oil, or should I say gas from plastic, you know, and these are, you know, technologies that are about to be created a whole lot faster, because once again, and you said this earlier, is that this is more of a mindset game. And really, we have to be able to shift our thinking to no longer having to use our hands. No.
Oh. We lost you there for a minute, David.
No, I will jump in here real quick while we get David's mic back.
Sure.
But just as you shared, Chietza, you know, the understanding of how critical it is to have systems. It doesn't matter whether you're in technology or you are selling T-shirts, right? And by the way, my father, when he went into retirement, sold T-shirts, and that's why I say it, because there is no disrespect to you could be selling chicken eggs for your neighbors down the street. Again, I've sold many eggs in my lifetime, but you need a system. There is a system. It doesn't matter whether, yes, it can be an old school system on writing, but that's not where we're going. That's not where the technology is going. And that is why it's so important to understand that the system that you have is, and why you even said in your own words, is why I came to the Hello LLC. Not that, you know, the system, we're the only people that can help build systems, but it's like you shared, the system is not your head, but you understood how important it is in order for you to be able to process and help your community, because a system allows you to work smarter, not harder, right? And so before we dive into the next question, we're going to take a little moment and share with the audience Chietza's amazing motion work AI video that she received as a part of her business that she did with the Hello LLC, that shares a little bit more about who she is, what she's up to, and all the great things that are come, the African AI aunties. So check this out.
Hi, I'm Chietza, your African AI auntie. I'm here to empower Africa's next generation of students, educators, and creators to stop waiting for opportunity and start building it. My mission is simple: help you launch AI-powered businesses, turn your ideas into income, and compete on a global stage. My vision: an Africa that leads the world in digital innovation, where young people like you use AI and online tools to design your own future with confidence. The digital revolution won't wait, and neither should you. Let's build smarter, faster, and together. Are you ready to step into the future?
Great. So for those that are in here with us in the Metaverse, you did not get to see that amazing video, but everybody who's with us on live got to see that beautiful, amazing video. By the way, for anybody who is watching that video, that is not Chietza herself. That is a beautiful avatar that we have created of her. And that just shows you guys how close and how like we are getting really refined on the AI side, not just us, but as a society, as a whole world, that AI side's getting real refined to where we are literally producing content for Miss Chietza that looks identical to her to be able to produce her message. So that way, that day, if she's got a little cold or something, she's got a little, raspy voice and can't come out and talk to you guys live and in person as she does so wonderfully and elegantly, she can be able to have her AI avatar and her motion works to be able to follow right up. Mr. Jones, I want to hand this mic over to you real quick, sir. Nope. And he's not back yet. So he's definitely got a mic problem going on in there, but that's not a problem, Ms. Chia. So we're going to jump on into this conversation here next on systems, which is the business inbox. And we want to understand you, why was it important for you to partner with the Hello LLC to help you create a system that works for your business?
Great question, Tara. I've been watching you and David for the past 2 years, and I've been seeing how you have impacted our dear friend Leah Garcia, our wealth management finance strategist, in transforming her business. Because the way that I'm programmed, I'm a very experiential kind of person. So I know, even just in the business sense, the power, pretty much 80%, well, not even 80, I'd say even 100% of our decisions are emotional. So in terms of finding ways to engage with people and touch them, but also inspire them, is how I saw what you and David are doing. And it's not only just visually, but it's also I call it a clever and pretty much smart way to amplify the way that we engage with people. Because even in this digital age, I know websites are pretty much, going out of fashion. Even Zoom is going out of fashion. And so it's keeping up with what is getting people's attention, what is getting people to engage more. And I know you and David have better stats than I know that I can pull off the top of my head. But why I decided to put the system in place is that I wanted everything to be a one-stop shop, like I saw with Leah. I wanted everything to be in one place, but also done in a way that gets more people to pay more attention, and also even showed as a standard of excellence. Because if all the big corporations are using exactly some of the tools in the metaverse that you and David are incorporating, I said I need to get in the game because I don't want to be left behind. And so I found myself that if I got in at this level, then I can also be showing and inspiring more African youth of what is actually possible. And I know I researched even on the African continent trying to find out, okay, so who is doing stuff in the metaverse and creating business systems and things like that. There are a couple of companies, but I am focusing on the two of you for now because I want to learn and understand how this all works. I do understand the value of having a sustainable system around me to support all of my efforts, and that is in an organized, systemic way. And just like I was saying before, it's one thing to just have a product that's, okay, I want to make money. But it's another thing to actually position yourself in such a way where it is a business hub. It is a way that you engage with your people, give them new experiences, and have them keep coming back for more in that way. And also, it's much more fun. I've never, I know this is my first time presenting myself in this way. And like with anything that's new, you're like, what? What's going on? How do we do this, etc. But again, it's also showing that mindset of continuously being open to learning, continuously being open to innovation, because that's the only way you can survive in the business world. And not only survive, thrive. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Am I back?
I think we got David back.
Perfect. Well, Sujeta, it's so amazing that you say that because there are a lot of companies out there that are doing metaverse, but there's not a lot of companies out there that are helping small to medium-sized companies be able to put their systems together and learn their foundations and then be able to incorporate metaverse. And that's one of the biggest things that we have to combat, just like every business owner does, of being able for people to fully understand what they do and how they do it. And we want people to know from the beginning, we help you with your systems and foundation. If you do not want to touch whatsoever, you don't have to touch it at all. But if you have an old website, you have some systems, you have a foundation, you have a business idea, and you just need some help because you are struggling. Or one of the biggest things that we find is that people have these amazing ideas, they just don't know where to start, and they want to start somewhere. And that's where we share with people, hey, look, we have 100,000 square foot home that we can build on, but if you only got 5,000 worth of furniture, let's just use that, and then we'll build as we go. And so one of the main things and the things I love to ask is, now that you do have your biz in a box, when you did get your biz in a box, what is now the one thing that you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I made this decision. Now I don't have to do X. What would you say that would be?
It's having everything in one place. For example, yes, I've got my, because I like organization and making things simple and easy, right? So I know I'm still exploring in terms of the back office and the efficiencies of that, being able to capture, customers and do my campaigns and things like that. But even just visually, I like the way that it's presented, where I can easily see, okay, who's Chiedza, what does she do in terms of appointments, even the products, capabilities, everything is so seamlessly integrated. That's what I'm appreciating. I'm still new at it because I've only had it a few days, so I'm still learning a lot. But so I wouldn't say it's one thing, David. I'm still exploring. But what excites me the most is it's updated. It feels progressive in the way that I present myself. It feels, even the way of logging in and the simplicity of it all. And by the way, I'm loving my design because it reminds me of the great Zimbabwe empire that was around for several centuries. And so I'm looking at even the designs like, oh, she got it on point. But anyway, so I'm enjoying that, also even with the colors, etc. But yeah, basically it's a one-stop shop, and again, I'm always emphasizing simplicity and ease of use is what I'm enjoying. And yes, I know at first people are like, what, how do we do this? But just like Zoom was almost like non-existent about 5 years ago until COVID amplified it, same thing here. That's the kind of attitude I'm promoting. That look, we try new things. This is what's working. This is the way the world is going, and we need to get on board. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, David.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're absolutely spot on, right? You're going to have somebody that says, oh, I couldn't get on. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't do this. And your first question to them needs to be, unfortunately, did your ass read? And a lot of the times people don't read because there's a
Yep.
big menu button at the very bottom. There's prompts that share with you what to do. And especially now with technology, people aren't reading. And it's very easy compared to, the DOS systems back in the day. You had to know what to do, how to do, put in this, put in that. And so that's the first thing I share with people is, hey, did you read? Because I know for myself, me and Tara will do this to each other. Tara did it to me the other day. She said, hey, I said, baby, I can't figure this out. Blah, 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 blah. And she said, okay. She said, and we went to it. She's like, did you read that? And I was like, ooh, no,
Yep.
I didn't. And I'll do it to her. And it's okay. And then the biggest thing, especially when we talk about technology, we get stuck in these ways. Even before we started, I'm not good at this. That's not my cup of tea. That's for the youngsters. That's for these young people. That's what y'all do. And I'm like, hold on. Youngsters only read. Youngsters can only press buttons because that's what you're telling me right now. And it's very easy for us to go down that slippery road to be able to not, press these buttons just like we didn't with the internet, just like we didn't with real estate when real estate was big, just like we didn't when, online sales were big, just like a lot of people didn't when they talked about websites and people were like, nah, I don't think I need a website. Even to this day, people will say they don't need a website, which blows my mind. And so with that being said, what would you share with someone that does have an outdated website, that doesn't have their systems and foundations, that is trying to put their own website together and trying to do the one road bandit, lone wolf bandit? What would your answer, or whisper in their ear be why they should, have a conversation with us?
Well, for me, it's basically like because I remember even when I finally just stopped, because I tried starting to put some things in place myself back in August, because like, let me try and figure it out by myself. And I got to a point, and it was a good point where I did finally reach out to you and you said, Keza, stop. Because first of all, I was realizing I was getting lost in the weeds and the forest. I couldn't figure things out. It was taking too much time. I was getting exhausted, getting very frustrated. And I know it's not a possibility for everybody. I understand that. But keep this in mind. In whatever small way you can do, even just having a conversation with people who are experts, and I am even advocating for Tara and David from the Hello LLC, because you don't know what you don't know. And as much as people think, oh, I'll just figure out just a website and it'll be fine, but you don't know how much money you're leaving on the table by the people you're not able to access because of the way that you present yourself. It's like with any brand, right? How you look, how you present yourself, how you engage with people is how you build your business. And if you don't have the right kind of capabilities incorporated, you'll get left behind, unfortunately. So I'm not saying that you go full out and invest, whatever, but keep this in mind. If you want basically whatever you're trying to sell, everything is now mostly digital, right? So you do need to have a digital infrastructure around you. Like my parents couldn't sell from their retail stores without the four walls, right? They had to build the buildings. So if you keep that mindset that, okay, I'm wanting to sell whatever I want to sell, but I need it housed somewhere. I need it protected somewhere. I needed to have systems that are reliable and able to help me engage with the right target audiences that I'm seeking to get the attention of. And look, I call myself an eternal student. I'm always learning. I'm always looking for people who are finding the right solutions. I'm always trying to tune into learning. Okay, even right now, I'm trying to figure out how can I better access African markets and my African audiences, and understanding even just self-reflection on myself. That yes, even though I'm of Zimbabwean origin, I do have a lot of global nuances and things that may not work in the African context. Oh, believe me, I've been told a couple of times I'm too direct, etc. But anyway, that's a cultural issue. But what I'm mainly saying is just the self-awareness of, okay, I want to build a business. I need to stay open-minded to learn what is working now and even what's continuing to evolve. Because basically, if you try and continue doing the things the old way, you basically become obsolete very quickly and your business will die. I'm just being frank. Yet at the same time, as much as I have invested what I've invested in, I am still, even in the African, in the AI plus digital entrepreneurship book that I wrote, Blueprint, is giving you just some steps of putting some basic infrastructure in place. And then as you grow your business, you can then incorporate and hire more people to be able to upgrade it and things like that. But if anything of all that I've said is every business, especially in this digital age, does need its digital infrastructure. And you need to start somewhere and keep the mindset of continuing to grow and evolve.
Boom, that indeed, and for those of you that are watching us live, and for those of you that want to go and check out her amazing business box, I highly encourage you to go to AfricanAIauntie.com. And the one thing that I'm surprised you didn't mention is that no more business cards for She Excellence. No more of that.
Oh, there you go.
She now, everybody has their phone on them all the time. So now she gets to pull out her phone, have people give them, or take a picture of her QR code. And this is the great thing is that now on her business box, it has all of her social media handle on here. So she doesn't have to tell people, go here, go there, go there. I'm on here. She now gets to tell people go to one spot. You definitely can go to her Instagram, her TikTok, her Facebook, her YouTube. Definitely, you guys make sure you go and support. We share with people all the time. Support is free, and people won't press the button. So definitely go and follow Auntie AI, African AI Auntie on social medias, and you'll be able to find it. And then look, if you want more information, go book a 15-minute coffee chat. Definitely make sure you go support and get her amazing book. And then if you need a little bit more of, strategic session, things of that sort, go book a 15-minute coffee chat with her. And for those of you that are watching us on the old crusty, dusty two-day way, you can press this button right now and come in the metaverse and watch us as well. And then definitely go and check out her amazing AI video that we played beforehand, and then engage, adopt, implement where you can get her ebook, as you see, or you can get the audio book. You don't want to read? Well, guess what? Get the audio. You can listen to it at the gym. You can listen to it on the way to work. You can listen to it when you're trying to ignore your husband. But you can make sure you support it. You also can get it on Amazon and Gumroad. And so, while we're here, Suzette, if you would share with people why they should press this button and go get your book, and tell us a little bit more about your book.
Thank you, David. So I created the book to help empower African youth, right, with improving their digital skills and also to set up online businesses. So we know that the major issue right now, especially with African youth, especially even with graduates, is as much as I got my degree or wherever I'm studying, how do I make money? How do I put money into my pocket, right? So if you're a parent and you have children in university age, get them to check it out, right? Even on the African continent, I am working with different stakeholders, be it students, be it schools, be it organizations, that I am sharing this with, because my vision is that this becomes a staple on all smartphones. Oh, somebody is in the background, needs to mute. Thank you. Okay, and so my main passion is this. As much as I'm offering the book, yes, I am still finalizing a course, which is just a 4-part module, very simple, which is like basic four different steps. And by the end of it, you should be having your own online business running. But of course, we know that business isn't just a instant once-off. Of course, you build onto it with the marketing, with the outreach, with the relationship building, etc. But at least you can set up your platform or have an idea of where to start within 4 simple steps. And that will be finalized soon, because I'm working with another organization in Nigeria to help me finalize that. And yes, I will be probably developing my speaker consulting aspects later. But for now, since we're focusing on the AI plus Digital Entrepreneurship Blueprint, get a copy even for yourself. And if anything, from the feedback I've gotten from even one of my direct nieces, the way that I wrote this book is almost like it's almost like a love letter to my niece, Erin, who started all of this. Because the way that I write it is as your auntie, as somebody who sees the genius and brilliance in you. Whether you're 18 or even whether you're 65, I still believe the same applies, in that I just wanted to be a different kind of voice of encouragement, of celebrating you, of showing you what is possible, but also showing you what you can use and apply it to create what you want to create, or even what you haven't even thought of yet. Because there's also the aspect of collaboration. So we know with collaboration, a lot of things can become much bigger than we even first thought of or imagined. So yes, please go to africanaiauntie.com, buy a book. You can, for African countries, it is available on Gumroad. So please, right now we have a promotional $2.99 price for it on Gumroad. It is available on Amazon for the rest of the world. You're welcome to check it out. You're welcome to leave a review. And yes, you feel free to reach out to me. The easiest way is actually mainly through LinkedIn, but of course you can schedule a virtual coffee with me from my website as well. Okay. Oh.
I got it.
David?
So, yes, ma'am. I absolutely love that. And for those of you that are looking at the actual screen, you'll see the different places. You can go to Amazon, you can go to Gumroad, and then of course, you can just get it from her Biz in a Box itself and get it directly from her Biz in a Box, and be able to also, buy the book at Books to Read and paperback as well on Amazon. And one of the biggest things, if you guys don't know, this is where you book a coffee chat. One of the biggest things that has been added is the brand new apparel line. So if you want to get a sweatshirt, you want to get a t-shirt, you want to get a coffee mug, you can definitely go and buy. Because look, I get it. Everybody doesn't want to read or doesn't want to get a book. I get you. But you can get a sweatshirt. This winter time is almost here for most of you, right? A t-shirt. I know some of you might drink tea, you might drink coffee, whatever you can drink, but you can definitely go check out her brand new apparel line. And Suzette, so you want to share anything on that?
I'm still learning about it as well. Oh, cool. I didn't realize that. I didn't see there, Carol. I was like, oh, okay, I'm selling hoodies and t-shirts. Okay, that's cool. But hey, I understand, right? It's a way of engaging with people in different ways, right? So I'm open to it and I welcome it. Yeah, and thank you for setting that up for me.
Yeah, this is one of the perks that you get with our Visitor Box because this is something where you all get to, instead of you wearing Nike, instead of you wearing Reebok, instead of you wearing Adidas, why not be able to have on your own apparel? Why not be able to support, your best of friends, that you get online with and you showcase them? You're going to go buy a shirt anyhow. Why not be able to buy a shirt for them? And so, from them and support them. And so this is where we all get to come together and really be able to support your brand and support your business at the end of the day. And really, being able to learn about the number one international bestseller, right? Co-author, four-time co-author, and really be able to just learn more from Chietza and, pick her brain. And there's nothing wrong with having a conversation. So with that being said, Chietza, do you have anything else you want to add before we go to maybe our questions section of this?
Sure. I mean, we're good. I think we've covered everything for the most part. I just wanted to ask for your help, though, David. I do have a couple of friends that I had asked to share a bit with us, and so they try. I know this is all new, and I'm also still learning of how they can find a way to unmute themselves, or how I can introduce them. Is that possible?
Yeah, if they're in here, then yeah, they definitely can go ahead and put themselves off mute. They got to make sure that they have everything connected and they allowed access to their microphone. A lot of people, what happens is they jump in here and they see that notification and they didn't give access, so they got to allow access for the speaker, and then they can go up to the very top right, hit those three buttons, and be able to unmute themselves. I had some people unmute themselves earlier in here as well. So who was it in particular that you want to have a conversation with?
Well, I see my friend Tolu. She was the first person that I had seen come in, and so I wanted to invite Tolu because I asked a couple of them to prepare, 5 minutes or something just to speak. But we'll work with who's able to come in. So my friend Tolu, she's a public speaking and family life coach, working. She's also based in Nigeria, and so I'd wanted her to just share a couple of her thoughts, or even as she sees what she does and in alignment with African AI Auntie. So Tolu, I don't know if you're able to unmute yourself. Okay, we might be getting some challenges there. Because I know some people are.
I see Tolo as is speaking. I just can't hear them coming through on their microphone. I hear I see their microphone moving. They need to make sure that they have connected. Because I've unmuted them and I can see the speaker moving. Just make sure they have it connected. So if you go over your microphone, yep. Yeah, I can see it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, while we wait on that, is there anybody else that's in here?
Well, there's Professor Roxana Ezenekwe. She's a maths and financial literacy a consultant who I met through actually both her and Tolu. We were in an anthology together called Lessons We Learned from COVID last year. And so they've been very kind and very supportive of what I'm doing. And so I'd invited them to share here as well. And I'm not sure if Professor Roxana, are you able to talk? Okay. Well, there are a couple of others. We'll see who will eventually be able to speak. So I'm looking at my friend Zara. Zara, I met her through she's a wonderful podcaster. Welcome. And what I love the most about working with Zara is her intentional focus on how we can amplify African voices and our own cultural context as we do our storytelling, as we build our businesses. So Zara, I'm not sure if you're able to come off mic. Are you okay?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yay! I can hear you.
Yeah.
There you are. Yes, go ahead, my dear.
We have
you.
Emmy as well with us. So what I wanted to say was thank you very much. Chiedza, thank you very, very much for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. Hello to everyone else who's here and everyone who's listening. Now, I come in as a podcaster. And what I do is I believe that every culture has its own rhythm, its sound, there's a story. And Africa's stories have been told about us rather than by us. So what I try and do is I bring the idea of the multilingualism, the multicultural continent into the world. So I interview people who come from all walks of life, people who are visionaries, because it's very important. I think that many Africans feel that their stories don't matter. And when I had the honor of meeting African AI Auntie, the language that she spoke, incredible. In the beginning of it, before we started, you said hello in, I think, around 9 different ways. So well done, Chiedza, for that. So podcasting, as Chiedza said earlier on, I'm a podcaster. I like to give people the mic to allow them to tell their own story, because I think that by honoring a person's story, honoring their voice, it gives them the ability to tell their story to someone who needs to hear it. As a podcaster, it's very important that I amplify those voices. Voices that come from, African AI Auntie, voices that come from people like William Blanche, from Curtis Brooks. These voices that are heard, but not heard enough. So that's what I want to say. Thank you very much, Chiedza, for giving me the opportunity to speak, and I'll pass the mic over to you guys. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Zara. And just to give you a bit more context on Zara, Zara is my Sudanese, Russian, and very multilingual, multicultural friend, and we resonated deeply on that. And we were speaking across different languages all the time. So it definitely keeps my life entertaining. So thank you, Zara.
Okay. You're very welcome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And then the next person I wanted to bring up, hopefully he can unmute himself, is Eni Osung. I first met Eni more than 2 years ago through the LinkedIn audio rooms. And I called him the godfather of LinkedIn because of the brilliant way that I saw that he brought and built community through the audio rooms. And in a lot of ways, actually, most of the people that I've met and that have even brought me to the space today is through those audio rooms that he hosted. And so, Eni, I know you're trying to get in. Hopefully, you'll be able to unmute yourself, because we'd love to hear from you too. Not sure if he was able to, because I've been texting back and forth. Okay. Okay. Well, if Eni's not available at this point, it's okay. We'll just quickly move on to Dr. Ava. Dr. Ava, are you able to unmute yourself? Dr. Ava Brown. Yeah, we're learning new technologies, and I know this is the first time we've ever engaged in this way. Because I know I have a few others, but there sure. Hello, I can't see anyone. Oh, Dr. Ava's saying she's unmuted, but we can't seem to hear her. Oh dear. Okay, well, it's looking that we're having some technological challenges. And so in light of that, because I do want to respect people's time, and I do appreciate all of the people who've been able to show up, I'll try it one more time. Professor Roxana, are you able to unmute?
I see their mics moving. I think it's not technical on our side. It's more so on their side. They need to make sure they have their mics connected. Their mics connected, and they made sure that they gave it access to allow.
Can you hear me? I am speaking, but I don't know why you cannot hear me.
Hey! Yes, we can hear you, Professor Roxana.
Wow, I'm so amazed that I'm here. Oh, my
Yes.
African AI auntie. I am
Thank
so
you.
excited to be here in the metaverse for the launch of this new book. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. I'm from Nigeria, Africa originally, but I've been in the United States for 28 years or more. I have been a long life math teacher. And with this AI, I think many things are going to, many problems will be solved. In the future, we had students struggle with mathematics a lot, but right now, with iPhone, iPad, and AI, we can solve so many problems. At least practice at home, know how to do some stuff. So some people will stop believing that math is so difficult. Also, we can actually teach children basic finance, financial literacy 101, because they have the apps. Now we have the apps. That's the turning point, though. This is the turning point. So we are going to imagine a world where math teachers can now use the apps, the tutors, budgeting apps, and simulation games to teach mathematics. So it's now going to be fun, not just learning mathematics and memorizing facts. So I'm so thrilled, and plus the African AI auntie. Thank you for the youths. Thank you for thinking about the youths of Africa. Thank you for working for a future generation. Thank you for working for my grandchildren. So the opportunities are diverse. They are diverse. With just smartphone, the one that they have in their hand every minute of the day, they can now use it to actually not only do math, but they can actually use it to get a job, teach online, actually employ others, get a job and employ others, improve their businesses. So to that I say thank you. And I am impressed that I am in the metaverse for the book launch. African AI. I don't know whether I'm so excited or sad. But anyway, so we thank you for being the supportive community and this skill development for our youths, African youths. The initiatives like African Auntie will equip us, our children, my grandchildren, with AI skills, confidence, and supportive community. And this will ensure that my students are not only digitally skilled, but also financially literate. How about that? See, let me tell you, one of my stories is that when I came over here, I went to buy a car, just a short story. I went to buy a car and they told me that they will check my, my financial background. I mean, something they said they're going to check. So after some time, they told me that the interest rate I will pay is 22%. I don't know if you know that that's very high. And so I was wondering, I thought I went to school, I did a lot of things. So why should I be paying 22%? And lo and behold, I later bought that car for 22% interest rate. Okay, so, but if I had known on time how to manage my money, if I had known how to use credit card, if I had known financial literacy, because I had all the degrees. I am an accountant from Nigeria. I did mathematics. I mean, all these degrees, I still didn't know how to manage my money. I didn't even know how to use the credit cards. But now, with AI, an African AI auntie, my sister, we can now teach our children. They will know. They will not just graduate from college with degrees like engineering, accountancy, mathematics, without knowing what to do. So they will come out being employers. they should be able to employ others, not only being able to make money, they can teach online because they have all these digital assets. So I just want to say thank you for being supportive to our future generation. And so our vision for 2025 and beyond. So these are goals. By 2035, every African youth will graduate with confidence and solve problems. They will have wisdom to manage their finances. That's our prayer, and it's going to happen. And the tools of AI will turn ideas into income for them. So help us God.
Thank you.
This vision, just one sentence. This vision will aim at building Africa where numbers empower, money is managed wisely, and young people create their own future. They have jobs. I just want to say thank you. I'm not taking all the time, but I am so impressed with what you are building. And I'm just saying, go for it. You are doing a great job. Thank you for thinking about the future of Africa.
Thank you so much, Professor Roxana. I deeply appreciate your encouragement. And we do this together. And even an important point that you said, that we can use AI's tools to become more, shall I say, life skills literate. Because a lot of us, as you mentioned, we're not taught about financial literacy or how to better budget ourselves or even how to set it up even within our businesses. So that's where in learning how to use certain AI tools and upgrade those skills, we're better able to employ them. For example, even in my own current job and the fintech industry, we sell software to companies to help them pay their bills at 99.9% accuracy, because we know as human beings, there's a lot of room for error. So I'm just resonating with what you said, and thank you for that. And then the next person I think who may be ready to speak is my brother, Eni. I don't know if Eni, if you're able to come off mic yet, because Zara said that you're ready. I don't know if we're seeing any, David. Okay. Yeah, I do understand we have some challenges. You saw him coming?
I saw him coming. Yeah. But he's not.
Wondering,
is that him? Silver? No, that's not him.
Yes, he says, I'm in, but no unmute button on screen is what he sent me.
No, there's any button. Is he on his computer or laptop?
Eni, you'll have to let me know if you're on your computer or your laptop, my dear. Then we
You
could
need to
possibly
maximize
help
the
you.
screen at the very top right.
In the meantime, while we're figuring out Eni, is my sister Tolu Lope Ekwe? Are you available? We still can't hear you. Oh dear. Well, we have our challenges, but we're figuring it out.
It's not easy. We just new here.
I know, we're learning. It's a new experience. So of course, it'll take us time to adopt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll give it one more minute, and if not, because I know Zion was trying to get on, he wasn't able to. But hey, we're learning, and it's a new experience, and I appreciate those who are able to participate. And Dr. Ava, Silver Golden Goldfinch 831. Is there a way we can try and bring her up? Let's see if she's still there. Because Dr. Ava's my business school.
Yes. Hey, good morning.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Chesa. Good morning, everyone. Chesa, can I speak now since we're having technical difficulties, or?
Yes, please. Please go ahead, Dr. Ava. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Good morning. It is so beautiful to be here. Just to be celebrating you like this. I want to just really honor that before I move on. We met a few years ago, and whilst we worked on the anthology, I know that we were going to work together separately, but it just wasn't the right time. And so I'm just so proud to be your book coach, your publisher, your doula, and just to be a part of this process and to see how everything has come together. I want to say very quickly how beautiful you are to work with, how synchronized working with you is, and just how proud I am for that which you have brought to life. And there's so much more that we're going to be unearthing. So this morning, I am going to be talking about from storytelling to systems and scaling your dreams to global impact. I really want to talk about the fact that storytelling is a massive thing, and storytelling literally have the power to stir hearts, to spark moments, and to shift cultures. I want you to think about the last story that you truly read that moved you. And maybe it was a book, or maybe it was a film, so read or watch, or even a personal testimony that somebody shared. I just finished watching Ruth and Boaz on Netflix, and I must tell you, it had me in tears. So stories have that power, that impact, that ability to move, shift, and to spark moments in our lives, but also to shift cultures. But here's a challenge that I want you to think about, is that a story on its own is like a spark. It shines brightly for a moment, but without fuel and structure, it really dies out. And if you look around Facebook and LinkedIn and social media, there are so many books and so many stories, but where do they really go after they're written and published? Nowhere. So today I want to explore with you how we can move from storytelling to systems, how to take that spark and build a fire that can light the world. And that's exactly what Chiesa is doing. So I'm going to be really quick. The first part is that the power of storytelling. I don't need to tell you that it's the oldest form of human connection. We all know that. Stories allow us to be seen, they allow us to be understood, and they allow us to be remembered. I know none of you will forget Chiesa's marketing, the bold colors, and everything that African AI auntie has unearthed so far. You're not going to forget it, because let's be fair, it's different from most of what you've seen. So stories are all about movements, they're about revolutions and businesses and our faith and all of that. All of our movements, revolution, or our businesses, our lives even are based on stories. But stories are fragile unless they are carried into systems. Let me repeat that. Unless stories are carried into systems like what we are in now, the metaverse, especially now, they are fragile on their own. So The Mango Girl is my story. All of you know that, or most of you know that. It is not just a book. It became a platform. Just last week, I was at a movie wrap party. I mean, this movie that's coming out next year on Netflix. It's a feature film, and we had the wrap party. The UK Guardian flew down to come and cover it, because I've moved the Mango Girl story from just a book, and it's become a platform. It's a brand. It's a movement, and the systems I've used so far to carry it through have really been impactful. Now, you may say, but how do systems come into a story? Because systems are what we need in this world. If ever a time that we need systems like the one that Chiesa has and talks about, is now. A system is literally repeatable. It's structured, and it ensures consistency and sustainability. And without systems, I know the Mango Girl and my whole journey would have been useless. Without system, dreams remain dependable on the storyteller's presence. I don't have to be physically present for my business, my story, what I'm trying to do to carry on, unless I'm doing a one-to-one coaching with Chiesa or somebody like that. I want it to be nimble. With systems, dreams can come alive. So nonprofits create systems to distribute resources. Think of Oxfam and the Red Cross. Businesses create systems to scale their services. Think about the banks. Government creates systems to serve citizens. I work in politics, so we have systems that we use. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having a bit of allergy. I'm so sorry. So stories inspire people. Systems keep them engaged and invested. Example is the film industry. I don't know if you've seen Tilly. Tilly is the new AI person in the movie space. She's there, and Tilly Norton, I think her name is, and she's really there as a new system. Every film begins with a story, but without systems, production, distribution, festival, which I'm part of, funding, the story stays in someone's notebook. The other thing about systems in storytelling is that they scale your dreams into global impact. Look at Chiesa right now. All of us are in different parts of the world in Metaverse. It's a system. The bridge between story, the AI African and African AI auntie, that bridge between that story and the system is intentional design, which this Metaverse is. We're in a new space. It's so new for most of us. So I want you to ask yourself, how can you turn your personal story into a model that can be shared, replicated, and scaled? And as I wind down, I'm going to give you 3 practical steps. You can codify the story, means you can capture the principles, the lessons, and the visions behind the story, and you can use that. You can build platforms, and you're in the right place today at the right time where Chiesa has something for you. So you can create a system, a business, a festival, a curriculum, a digital product that is going to carry your story even further. The third thing you can do, so first is codify, 2 is build a platform, and 3rd is to leverage partnerships. Scaling requires network, local and global. I always tell my clients, build local before you go global. Systems thrive when shared across borders. No man is an island. No man stand alone. And in this digital space, I know as a publisher, I am doing a lot of leveraging of partnership. I leverage politics for my film festival. I leverage my relationships. I leverage everything very carefully, of course, because I'm very cautious of the partnerships I established. But notwithstanding, scaling your dreams isn't about your ego. It's about your legacy. So you have to think about it. And your dreams become a gift to the world, and your story lives on forever. So in closing, as I congratulate Chiesa as a book publisher myself at Book2Biz, so book the number 2bizpublishing.com, I want us to remember that we live in an age where stories can travel faster than ever before. I mean, within seconds. Somebody I met online yesterday was telling me this morning, without even knowing enough about me, that he was able to take one picture of me and he was able to find so much. I was irritated by it. And I said to him, why are you stalking me? And he said, no, I'm not stalking you. We're in this quick, fast microwave space where even a picture can allow me to find you. But we have to remember that if we want to have a real impact, we must move beyond just sharing our stories to building systems, to leverage relationships, because stories touch hearts and system transforms society. So my challenge to you today, as you are here with Chiesa, is to think about this. What is the story you hold in your gut? I always tell my clients, a story in your gut is of use to no one but yourself. But also, what systems will you build around it if you decide to tell the story to make sure it lives beyond you? I sat with my member of parliament 2 days ago and I said to him, sir, we need to write a book. And he said, Dr. Brown, I'd love that. I'd love to leave a legacy. But I'd love to do more than that. I'd love you to help me do an audiobook, because he's thinking about amplifying and volumizing his impact and his voice. Because when stories meet systems, guys, dreams don't just inspire, they scale into global impact. I want to say to Chiesa today, well done again. Proud of you. Proud to be standing beside you, side by side on this journey and helping you to walk with our Black and brown people into another phase where Africa is not asking for permission. Africa is kicking down doors, and Africa is saying we were here from the beginning of civilization and it's our time to shine. Proud of you, proud to be your doula, your publisher, and everything else. Thank you so much, guys. And Chiesa, this is just the beginning. The best is yet to come.
Thank you, Dr. Ava. You definitely are my sister who's holding my hand through all of this. I appreciate you. I appreciate your wisdom, your insights, and your passion. And yes, we're only just getting started, but I continue to come back to you, especially in agreement, the power of storytelling. And even the way that we positioned ourselves, even this metaverse platform with Hello LLC, I'm seeing the ways that stories are presented is also a very powerful, impactful way to engage with people. And on that note, I'm looking at time is running, and I'm just wondering if any is still available or if he's able to come in. If not, I think we'll start bringing it to a close. just check one more time.
No, do you know what name Amy is in? Because I have two people in here that don't have accounts. And if you don't have
Okay.
accounts, you cannot talk. It shares at the very beginning. You can't talk. It even has a guide of how you unmute and everything of that sort. And I don't know how
Yeah,
any
because he did say I'm here but no mute button, so I asked him to log in.
You should have been in here, Amy. You should have been in the metaverse. We've been doing rooms for the last year and a half. Where you been, Amy? Godfather?
Where are you, Enio? Well, it is the first time we're doing this, so yes, I understand we're all learning as we progress. But I think we can start winding it down, David and Tara.
So we're closing words. Go ahead, close us out, and tell everybody once again about your amazing business in a box and where they can get your amazing book, and close us out. Go right ahead.
Sure. So I do want to thank everyone who's been able to join us in the metaverse, and even if you're just listening, I know we've had some challenges connecting, but I do appreciate you all. First of all, I do want to thank you, David and Tara, in as we're growing together and learning together, and all the brilliance that I already saw you're already implementing with other clients has come to life for me. So I deeply appreciate you. I can see so many opportunities, even on the African continent, to incorporate what we have shared here today. I do want to thank the various speakers who were able to speak and support me in this context. Thank you, Zara, my dear sister. Thank you, Dr. Ava. I'm always in my heart. Thank you, Professor Roxana. I love your passion as well for empowering youth with practical life skills. And if anything, I know the others were able to attend in some capacity. We weren't able to hear your voice, but your presence is noted and deeply appreciated. And so I just want to thank you all for being with us. You are welcome to reach out to me on africanaiauntie.com. Share this with your networks, even buy it as a gift to African students that you may know, and let them know about what we're trying to do and how we can help them. And if anything, let's stay in touch. There will be more events, of course, because I am setting up even individual podcasts with even some of the speakers that were here today, because I do want to continue the conversation. It's not a once-off. This was a fantastic way to introduce myself in this forum, and I'm excited about what the evolution of the space can become. And with that, I'll hand it back to my fabulous hosts, Tara and David, and then you can close us out.
Absolutely. So without further ado, we want to thank you, Chietza, for having this amazing event and giving us the opportunity to even, have the keys to your business and really be able to design and create and put together your systems and foundation of really, like the young lady said earlier, being able to have storytelling meet, technology and systems. And that's essentially, what we do is everybody has a story. Your story is your glory. And it's somebody's survival guide. It's somebody's landmine, or should I say, it helped you get over your landmine so you can help other people get over theirs. And so you got to tell your story, and don't be afraid. And a lot of the times, technology is what stops people from moving forward and telling their story because they're not good with that. And that's why we continue to share with people: stop being the janitor in your business and be the president of your business, and stop working on your business, stop working in your business and work on your business. And so often we're stuck working in our business. And really, there's a difference between that, where systems like AI, systems like being able to utilize these generative, chatbots and things of that sort with customer service and all of these things that is so far ahead of a lot of people, that is creeping up faster and faster. Where I shared beforehand, you really got to deep dive and learn these things, because you can think, you can speak it at the speed of thought. And now we can create at the speed of thought. And now there's no longer anybody needs to be number one, or anybody needs to be the best of this. We all can create and be the best of everything, because now there's a global economy for us all, and we all can win. And there's enough out here for us all to win. And if you don't know, Hello stands for Helping Entrepreneurs Leverage Leading Edge Optimizations. And we want to be able to help you, and we want more for you than from you at the end of the day. So make sure not only you go check out the African AI Auntie at AmericanAIAuntie.com. Also, make sure you can scroll down at the very, very bottom of that page as well, and you can learn more about the Hello LLC. And definitely make sure before you come check us out, you go get Chietza's amazing book, whether it's an ebook, audio book. You book an appointment with her. If you want more in depth, you go get that strategy call with her. But more than anything, press a button and definitely be on the lookout for more things that Chietza has. And if none of those suit your pocketbook, then go get you a T-shirt, go get you a coffee mug, go get you a sweatshirt, and support either way. But at the end of the day, we want to thank you all for joining us today. And as always, you guys know the drill. It's love, it's kindness, it's integrity, but most importantly, it's consistent and commitment. And until next time, you guys know the drill. Love, kindness, integrity. Toodles!